I always got Devin on. I was like, you know what, I gotta have a sister on more. I mean, we had you on, but you had him with you.
Right.
So I wanted to separate. I want you to have your own time. So I wanted you to do that. So let me ask you, I got to start with this, how did your plans change? What did 2020 do for you? I know you were looking forward to the Olympics, but that's got moved to next year. But how did it change for you? And how did your mindset change as well?
Yeah, it changed a lot, the shutdown of the season. I actually competed a little bit indoors. I did one meet before USA Indoors, and USA Indoors my last competition, because that's kind of the last meet before going into outdoor season. So we're getting ready, getting excited for outdoor season, because that's when like the fun really starts. That's when we travel.
Yeah.
One of my favorite meets is in Austria. So I was looking forward to going there for the second time. And then, of course, the build up to the Olympic trials and the Olympics. So I was really excited because I felt like I was in good shape. And I know that my coach, Petros, had a plan. And so just to kind of, have everything just come to a stop was such a bummer. But at the same time, this time has also been really productive, I would say. So, I think we've definitely made the most of having so much time off.
In what way? In what way are you staying productive? I know, because I'm always thinking athletes are athletes, and you always want to work and you always want to do things. But for you guys who are always on that, I feel like you always have that mentality of work and knowing what events work for and all that. It literally stopped for you this year. How are you staying productive and making sure you stay in shape and doing all that good stuff right now?
Well, luckily, my coach has a gym kind of built in his garage area behind his house. And so, he, after having to rip up his training plan, like on the track, we kind of use the time in his gym to really work on core strength, ankle stability, shoulder strength, all the things that we would kind of not focus so much on if it was a normal season. So we've kind of just taken a step back to work on the little. That way, when we translate back onto the track, I can, hold positions better. Like I'll be, stronger in the areas that might be before. So we've definitely used this time to strengthen like the little muscles and just kind of take a mental break too, because I think, the buildup for the Olympics is so intense, and just the buildup last year,
right.
World Championships was in October, so that was a long year, and so
right.
kind of the mental reset and mental refresh to get ready, because the next couple of years are going to be really, really important with the Olympics, back to back, and then another Olympics. So there's not going to be a dead year like there is normally to kind of reset.
No.
So here was really important to just be, super healthy, mentally, physically. And so we've just focused on, just making the most of this time that way.
Let me ask you a question. Now, you I try to say the question like this to the end because, you don't want to talk about it. Is up.
1 second. Can you repeat the question? My connection was kind of breaking.
Did you hear me?
No, my connection was.
No, that's fine. So far, I know this is early in your career. I know we got a long way to go, but what have you been the proudest of so far in your career?
I think it has to be making the Olympic team in 2016 as a junior in college. I was having a lot of success at Georgia, but the Olympics that's the biggest stage. And so, as a junior, I was, one of the youngest, at the trials trying out for the team. And so just to be able to make it on that first go, because sometimes it takes people a couple of Olympic trials to finally get on that team. So, I was really, really happy. And that was a big goal of mine to check that off and to do it so early. So that had to be the biggest accomplishment, just making the Olympic team in 2016. Although placing fifth in Doha might be a close second, because that's my highest finish at an international championship. So to say that I'm currently fifth in the world in my event is pretty cool.
Yeah, I said that's pretty dope itself. But how did you not allow, as a junior in college at the University of Georgia, you now are you were at the Olympics? How did the stage not get too big? How did you try to calm down? Because it was a family affair. I'm just gonna let you know, everybody was with you. I know your parents and your brother were there. We were there there with you. Everybody was with you. But how was it? Did you try to stay? Man, this is a big event. You out there with the big athletes. You got, you're doing the Olympic walking, all of that. How was that? Trying to stay like, all right, I belong here. I know I belong here, so it's all good.
I think it was helpful that I had done so many junior. I've been on so many junior world teams because although it's not the same magnitude as the Olympics, I still had the international travel experience. Being on a team of people that's not my Georgia track and field team. So it was kind of similar to that. But sometimes, honestly, I was on the track and I was like, I looked around in the stadium and I was like, dang, I'm really at the Olympics. Like I'm competing. I did have those moments, but it was also really helpful that my coach Petros did have a group of our training group, that also were on the team. Katora, who's one of my closest friends, who's a triple jumper on Team USA. She was there. She was my roommate at Georgia, and she was my roommate at the Olympics. So I think having that familiarity, and we had other athletes on like the Estonian team, one Cyprus. So having people that I train with like day in and day out there too, kind of, I guess, helped me stay grounded and kind of just remember like, okay, I can relax because like you said, I had a bunch of people surrounding me and supporting me both here in the States and over in Rio as well.
Your Aunt Bridget just said she's so proud of my beautiful, talented niece. Love you, one of your biggest fans. So she wanted to shout out.
Love you,
Bridget. I know you love your brother. We know that's love, but I think I asked you this before. Did you feel like one up, but did you like when you went to the Olympics, like, hey, I'm going, you got to catch up, bro? Or were you like, we going to be here again later together? I mean, I know it's sibling rivalries are real. I don't care what nobody say. I got a brother, so I know it's real. So
for us, I think sibling rivalries are real with like same-sex siblings because there's never been a rivalry for us. I mean, because he had a good Olympic trials, back in 2016. He placed 5th, but he had a good performance. And so when he was there with me, it was all I'm so happy that he was there. And so now this year, back when we were trying to gear up for the Olympics, it wasn't ever like I have one up on you. It was, now is the year that we're finally gonna like make history and do this together. So it's always been support. Yeah, I love having him there, no matter what, if he's on the team or not. Just it's important just for him to be there and same versa.
I was just checking. I know it wasn't, but I just wanted to see what you would say. I know he says it all the time, how proud of you. But when did you know that you were this talented? When did you know that this was a possibility? What age did you were like, okay, I'm in the juniors? I mean, because the juniors are the juniors, but
right.
This is the big stage. You know what I'm saying?
Let me think. I mean, I think that I started to know that I could probably do this in college and beyond when I made there was this team that it was the National Scholastic Sports Foundation got together a group of athletes that were kind of like, up and coming. And they took us to Puerto Rico as like to represent Team USA. So it wasn't the official like, USA junior team. It was just we're just representing USA. But that was my first time, being on a team that wasn't the Heat Track Club, which is my dad's club. That was my first time competing, somewhere like Puerto Rico, that's way different than like, Alabama or, just a competition in Georgia. So getting on a plane and going there. And so I think that opened my eyes to the possibilities. And I remember saying like, okay, now I want to be on the real Team USA. Like that's what I called it, the real Team USA. And so that very next year I was on the world youth team that went to France and then, went through all the junior stages. But as far as like being a professional athlete, I think that comes as you're going through college, you kind of see where you are. Because I think if you're the best in the country in your event, in college, as far as like the NCAA, then you can kind of say, okay, well, maybe I can go and compete with, people that are already, pro. And then you start to go to these trials and you see how you do, and it kind of builds. So I think seeing how well I was progressing in college helped me realize that I could do this professionally and make, Olympic teams.
You for all those who don't know, the heptathlon is 7 events.
Yes.
Which one is your go-to event? Which one is that go-to event for you?
The hurdles, 100%. The 100-meter hurdles.
Wait a minute. So what? So Coach Williams, he must have, because Devin says the same thing. The hurdles. I know I'm gonna get some points in that event. Was it like driven?
So much. We work so much on the hurdles. I mean, and it's love it. It's fun. It's the first event. It's a quick race, but yeah, my hurdles, and we spent a lot of time practicing hurdles and doing creative like drills to become, faster with the trail leg, faster with the lead leg, trying to get lower over the hurdles. So we just spent a lot of time working on that event, and both of us just developed such a love for it. So yeah, definitely our go-to for sure.
So if you got to go to, which one and you be like, I got to run this event, so let me go ahead and get in there. Which one is that event for you? Which one is that? Is it a field event? Is it a distance? Which one is that event you're like, all right, let me go ahead and just knock it out and see what I can do in it?
800. It's the last event, 2 laps around. It's painful. But you've already been competing for 2 days. And so the last thing you want to do is go around the track twice. And now the 800 is a sprint. I feel like years ago you kind of got. Now these women are taking off in a full sprint. I'm trying to keep up. So that event, I'm trying to love it. I really am. But that is the event that is hardest for me, and the event that I definitely dread for sure. But at least after that, I'm done. So I mean, it's
and it's understandable because like you see, 2 days you've been pounding, you've been running. Now you're like, now I got to sprint for 2 laps, not jog. The 800s is a sprint, like you said. So it's really a sprint. So
yeah.
I always say I hope that one day that I can help, and hopefully because of what y'all did for Kendell High School, you and your brother, that we get to see y'all get your track jersey hung up and things like that. Talk about your time at Kendell, and then when you went to Georgia, those times when you just grew up and being able to run in high school, to get to the college, and now international.
I absolutely loved my time at Kendell High School. I loved being a Longhorn from like the first day I got there to when I graduated. It was just such a fun experience. I was in drama class, which was a suggestion by my dad, my sophomore year, I think, in college and in high school. But I loved it, and I stuck with it throughout the rest of my high school years. I loved running track with Coach Jenkins. And Dr. Summy was the distance coach at the time. And so that was fun. I loved my teammates. It was just a good time. High school was fun. Like, with the homecoming, prom, all that, like the football games. It was the best. I loved my time in high school, and all the teachers that poured into me and were cheering me on through my track team. So I'm just really appreciative of Kendell High School and everybody that was part of me getting to where I am, getting to Georgia. And that was a great experience. I love Georgia as well. I love being a Bulldog. From the first day that from the day I committed, I knew that it was the right decision to stay in my home state, to represent my home state, to go to school with my brother, to being close to my parents, being close to my support system, because, I'm from here. And so I knew that I would have like my Kel support. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background.
No, that's fine. That's right.
And yeah, and so it was very important to carry that when I went to UGA. And also this past year, actually, Kel started a Hall of Fame, and so I was actually part of the first class to be inducted into the was really special. And so, yeah, I hold Kel very, very dear to my heart. And, UGA, obviously you can see from all the stuff behind me, we are a Bulldog family. I will always yell, "Go Dogs." And so, yeah, I'm just really appreciative of my professors, Petros, of course, who's still coaching me to this day. Yeah, so I've just had a great experience in high school, college. That's really kind of just propelled me into my professional career.
Was there any other school? Because I know Georgia wasn't they did win a national championship in track and field, but was there any other school? Because I'm sure there was Texas and Arkansas and the LSUs who were trying to get you. Was it always Georgia? Were any of those biting pretty strong to get you to come to that school back then?
When colleges were first able to talk to you, I believe it's junior year, I don't know. It's like you opening the floodgates. So everybody's calling, everybody's trying to get you to come on a visit. And so it was cool and also really overwhelming at the same time for someone that like has a hard time making decisions. So I knew that I had to limit. You only get 5 official visits, and I only took. And so I took my official visits at Georgia, LSU, and Florida. So those were the top schools that I was deciding between. I did take unofficial visits, so I did, go to Texas and visit unofficially. I did go to far San Diego visit unofficially, but I think those were really sticking out to me. I think after a while, like I kind of felt like I needed to be in the SEC. I knew that I didn't want to stray too far from home, so matter here in the South. And then over time, I just started to see the benefits of going to Georgia, and I was able to see how Pedro was able to develop my brother in such a short amount of time, like the first year that Devin was at Georgia. And so to me, I was like, well, we're coming from the same place, the same, our dad both coached us. So if he can improve Devin that quickly in that amount of time, I know that he can improve me as well. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Because I mean, Francine Hinton says, "So proud of your journey. Love you, Fran in New York." So I'm sure family, giving you love. So let me ask this. So I asked it to Devin, and I want to ask you your opinion on this. With so much going on this year with the pandemic, not only that, but also with the protest, and your thoughts on, you being a USA athlete and seeing what's going on in your country. What are your thoughts about that, and how did you feel about it, with Black Lives Matter and things of that nature? What were your thoughts on it? I know your brother had a strong stand, but I want to ask you that same question because you also represent the country when you overseas and,
right.
International and Olympics. What were your thoughts on all of this?
It was rough, when everything was happening with the protests and everything. It was very, very heavy, especially in the midst of this pandemic. And so I don't know. I wanted to see justice for the people that deserve justice for sure. I will say I didn't go and necessarily walk in the protest, but I feel like I took to social media and make sure that information spread, and letting people kind of know where I stand on the issue, that I definitely, I'm standing with everybody that does feel led to march, that does feel led to, do other ways of protesting and these things. So, but yeah, it was very heavy. And as a USA athlete, I don't know. I definitely support other athletes that have taken a stand and use this platform to kind of, spread their message. And I hate that some athletes have been punished for that. So I will say that as a USA athlete, I stand by and I support other athletes that are bold enough and are fed up enough to use their voice and to stand on the podium and raise their fist or to kneel during a game. I don't think that that's wrong. Personally, I support athletes that do that. And so, yeah, that's kind of my stance on it. I think that it's sad. I'm waiting for things to change, for to look at each other and realize that we're all people and that we are people. So I hope that our country can turn around, both with this pandemic and with Black Lives Matter and all the other craziness that's going on. I just want peace. I just want like our country to just take a big inhale, exhale. But yeah, I definitely support athletes that have used their platform to.
I agree with you. Let me ask you this. And I apologize. I'm freezing up a little bit. It's on my end. I apologize.
No problem.
Have you accepted the international notoriety that you've achieved? Have you accepted it? Is it still sometimes, I'm just running track, guys, I'm just doing this, but have you accepted that you're an international athlete?
Trying to. I think where I really saw it was in when I went to Gotsis, and everybody, it's strictly, Gotsis is strictly a heptathlon and decathlon competition, and so the fans there, they're super excited about it. They know who you are. They know your personal best, your everything about you. And so that was kind of my first time, really saying like, oh wow, like people actually like overseas know who I am. I mean, of course, like people might have seen me before, in a competition or on TV or something. I mean, when I hit the photographer with the shot put in Portland World Indoor Championship 2016, that kind of went viral. I think so. I think I'm kind of going to slightly be forever that girl that hit the photographer, but so I guess that was my first really like international exposure. But to go to GOT and just kind of see your international fans, or even aside from GOTS, if I'm doing a European circuit and the little kids are running up to get an autograph or they want your bib number, it feels really good. And so still weird because it's like it's me and I'm like, oh, I'm just Kendell, but I think I'm slowly kind of accepting that people do think track athletes and specifically heptathletes can be cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can. I mean, really, I mean, you're doing a lot of things that we all wish we can do. Do stuff like that. How important is family to you?
Oh, it's so important. And I think I show that by not going too far from home when I went to college. I wanted my parents to be there every step of the way. I obviously went to school with my brother. I wanted to see his growth. I wanted him to be there for my growth and the ups and downs I was going to experience. Our extended family is always tuned in to what Devin and I are doing. So they're always, texting my dad about, what's going on, or, they're checking results, or they're coming to the meet. So it's amazing to have that support, just to know that you have your own personal cheer section, either right there in the stands or following along at home. So family is super important. My family has always been close, even if, take track out of it. We've always been a close family. We love hanging out together and just spending time together. So family is super, super important. I don't think I wouldn't be who I am today without my family. He's frozen.
When he freezes, he should freeze with a smile.
I think he's leaving and coming back.
I'm back, Kendell. Sorry.
No problem.
Oh my goodness. Do that for me. So that's I paid my bill. I paid my bill.
Wait, I can't hear you. The audio.
Hear
Yes,
me?
now you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I better?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. I had to go to the living room closer. So I apologize again.
No problem.
Let me ask you this. When you see what you've done and you've accomplished, do you realize what you're doing for the future generation? Do you look at yourself and say, I got young ladies looking at me and young girls looking at me and I'm like, I'm a role model. Do you feel role modelish? Do you feel like you have that now since you've achieved so much at a young age?
Sometimes I forget actually, until I'll go, and I actually go to like my dad's practice with his young kids. I know like he, tells them about, what I'm doing or they follow along or something. So I'm reminded when I'm around younger athletes and then I'm like, oh wow, people actually like me, look up to me. And so I'm reminded, but I'm happy that they do look at me as a positive role model, because I definitely do want to be that, but sometimes I forget, because like I kind of, moving along, just kind of, going trying to check off like my steps, and I'm not realizing what that looks like on the outside, because to me, everything I've done in college was great, but that's in the past, and now I'm focusing on, what I'm trying to do professionally. But if you kind of take a step back and look at my whole body, I'm gonna, it's kind of impressive. And so, but I sometimes I feel like I minimize that, so I don't think that people are actually looking up to me when they are. And so I'm always like pleasantly surprised and very flattered that people look up to me and that they want to pursue the heptathlon because I did it, or they want to hurdle because I hurdle really well, so it definitely makes me feel good when I am reminded.
So I'm gonna throw some questions at you and you see what you answer.
Okay.
What song do you use? What do you listen to get you hyped during workouts?
Well, if I'm listening to music, a lot of the time I don't have any music playing, which is very different from a lot of athletes. I like silence.
Yeah.
So if I'm listening to music, it's usually on my way to competition. You may get a warm-up lap with headphones in. And so if I'm listening to anything, Beyonce live Coachella performance. And so
Oh wow.
I don't know why.
Wow.
But
Okay.
something about Beyonce is so fierce. It's just, I don't know. It like makes me feel like I'm fierce or something. I don't know. So that's always usually what I listen to. But as I get closer to the track, or as I get further along in my warm up, I'll turn off music and kind of be in my zone and focus on what I have to do, thinking about my cues. It's also so that I can hear when I'm called, to check in, or coach is saying something. I don't want to have to, fumble with music, and I want to just be able to hear him and then, keep doing what. So yeah, so if I'm on the way, it's usually the Beyonce live Coachella performance, and then it gets shuts off and it's silent.
Do you enjoy social media?
I do. I'm not as big on social media as I feel like other 25-year-old people. I'm mainly on
Right.
probably the main platform. I do have a Twitter account. I cannot tell you the last time I actually sat there and typed a tweet. I usually just go on there to like ask like what they're saying. But as far as engagement goes, like I guess the best way to like follow what I'm doing or to like ask a question or something definitely be Instagram. I have a Facebook. Don't ever get on Facebook. I don't have a TikTok. So I enjoy social media. I definitely want to take my life for sure. I don't want my identity to get wrapped up in like who I'm portraying on social media. But definitely do have social media accounts and try to keep people that I'm not in contact with daily. I try to keep, but are interested in my athletic career. I feel like it's my way of letting them know, hey, I just competed at this competition. This is how I did, or I'm on my career, or a lot of my social media content, like my stories, are about my dog actually. So pretty much everybody knows about my puppy. So that's pretty much the best way to kind of follow what I'm doing. You'll see Devin on Instagram. So that's definitely the one social media I use the most.
IG, y'all, IG.
Yes.
Was there an athlete that you met that you were kind of like, wow, I just met such and such? What was that athlete that you met and you were like, wow, I just met such and such?
I would say like Serena Williams and Allison Felix, because I obviously grew up watching Allison track, and so to have the opportunity to be on the team, on the Olympic team, was super cool. I was like, oh, I didn't think that this moment. I didn't know this moment. I didn't know if she was going to retire before I had the opportunity to make the team. I didn't know if the paths would ever cross. So to just be on the same team, be able to take a picture was really cool. Let's see, Serena Williams. Yeah, I was a little intimidated by Serena. I did not ask for a picture. Katora was with me, Katora Orji, and she actually did get a picture, and I should have, but that was really cool. Obviously, he's a star. But I'll say, and I think I didn't mention because now she's kind of a friend of the family. But when I met Jackie Joyner Kirk, that has to be up there. Being able to But I think I am able to send her a text, or she does keep up with what I might say congrats, or good luck on coming up. She came to Georgia to speak, and we took a picture together. But so now she's become kind of like a friend of the family. But the best woman to do my event, that's an amazing person to meet, and she's a legend, and she's in addition to being a great athlete.
That's awesome. Do you feel like you're carrying her what she's created, and now you're stepping into that role because of what Jackie did? Because I that's who I first when I think of you, I think about what Jackie was able to do, and I think about what you're now. You're into that now. You're in a heptathlete, seeing what she's done and seeing what so many great athletes have done. Do you kind of be like, it's my job to keep that going for us and for this country?
Oh, for sure. I think I up to her so long, and so I think not only just me, but the other U.S. continue to put the success forward. I mean, obviously she was a very successful U.S. heptathlete, and so we just want to kind of walk in steps as best we can, try to keep the torch. We don't want to drop the ball. That's why we want USA representation on these teams. We want to be able to get U.S. heptathletes on the podium. I know that's something that me, like Erica Bogard, she's a competitor of mine that's been a competitor for a long time, but we always talk about, okay, how are we going to get on the podium? Like, what can we do to that we can compete better with European athletes, because we want U.S. heptathletes the same kind of representation that Jackie competing. So we definitely feel the pressure. It's a lot of pressure because it's big shoes to fill. Jackie. Yeah. But we are definitely motivated by her success, and we're very grateful to have someone like her as a role model and an example.
I'm gonna finish with this. How great will it be next year? And I'm already calling it for the Williams brother and sister team to be representing the country next year, and just be together in 2021. Because it's supposed to happen this year. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen, but things happen. But how special will that be for you to be able to be with your brother? And the World Championships are one thing, but the Olympics is what we all talk about. To be able to do it with your brother, how would it be? How would that be?
It would be the most special thing. I look at like my short list of goals that I want to achieve. Probably one is the Olympic team with my brother. I mean, in 2016, it was such a special event, me making my first Olympics and him being able to hug him, and that was really special for us. But since that moment, we were like, how special would it be for me to be hugging you and knowing that we're both going to be boarding that and crossing off this goal that we have together, together. And sometimes I'll be driving and I'll think about, I kind of picture the moment in my mind of like, because the heptathlon, and so, and if he's already on the team, I know the moment that I cross the line, if I make the team, I'm gonna be in tears, and vice versa. If I'm already done and I'm secured on the team, and he's competing at the end of the week and he makes the team, I'm in tears. I will be running through the stadium. Like, that's huge for us as far as checking off our personal. That'll be huge for our family. Everybody that supported us on this journey. First that knows what my brother has done journey, because it's looking very, very different from mine. So him able to overcome that he's been through to make this team, which is such a huge goal of his. Honestly, like that, that would be the pinnacle of, like, I think both of our careers, the highlight, the moment that we'll always remember. You know, it would just be so special.
And that's awesome. That is awesome. Kendell, thank you so much. Tell them where they can find you at. I know you don't do but one, but just give them where they can really find you at.
Well, yes, you can really find me on Instagram. My handle is KDub_100. So KDUBB_100. If you message me, I'll respond. You'll see, like I said, updates on my story about, you know, what I'm doing. Kevin, you'll see my dog, what I kind of do day to day. And posts are usually, you know, what meets I have either coming up or the meet result. And, you know, if I just finished a competition, that's the best way to keep up with my day to day, other than just having my phone number. So Instagram is definitely the best way to keep in touch. Ask me any questions, or contact.
Well, thank you, everybody. Follow her. She's going to be on the podium. I don't hear what nobody say. She's going to be on the podium. So much, Kendell. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you all for watching. We're going to post this and repost it so you can watch the interview over and over again. So thank you, Kendell. Have a great day. And tell your family. Absolutely. Tell everybody, Pops, your mom, everybody, hi for me.
I will.
And we thank them. So
will.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.